The forest was calm, its silence punctuated by soft rustling leaves and occasional birdsong in the distant canopy. A wandering disciple, weary from travel, found solace under a massive banyan tree's shaded sanctuary. Suddenly, footsteps approached, light yet deliberate, and I turned to see the Buddha himself. His serene expression brought an inexplicable calm, as though the very earth settled in his presence. He motioned for the disciple to sit, his hands calm and precise, carrying a balance between rest and action. Long ago, the Buddha began, his voice steady and calming. There was a deer, known for its golden, shimmering coat. The disciple leaned closer, his weariness dissolving into rapt attention, captivated by the Buddha's resonant tone. This deer, King Banyan, ruled the forest with compassion that extended to all living creatures, from beasts to hunters. One day, a hunter ventured deep into the forest, his heart heavy with despair. Unable to feed his starving family, King Banyan saw the man's suffering and, fearless and kind, offered himself as the hunter's meal. The Buddha paused, his voice now carrying the weight of tragedy and triumph. The hunter, overwhelmed by the deer's sacrifice, wept and vowed never to harm another life again. The disciple furrowed his brow, his voice tentative as he interjected, "Master, surely such selflessness is a virtue, a beacon of compassion's limitless power?" The Buddha nodded, his serene presence unshaken, his wisdom about to unfold like petals of a blooming lotus. "Yes," the Buddha affirmed, his words deliberate, his cadence measured, like the rhythm of a calm heartbeat. But this same King Banyan, admired for his boundless generosity, faced the burdens of kindness without boundaries. The disciple's eyes widened, understanding beginning to flicker like the dawn's first light. Some animals grew bold, the Buddha continued, his voice now carrying a deeper resonance, a lesson embedded in every syllable. They trampled his resting place, consumed his share of food, and mocked his unwavering kindness. The disciple's brow creased further, empathy intertwined with growing recognition of a deeper truth. The deer felt sorrow, not for himself, but for the harm his unbounded kindness brought upon the forest's harmony. The Buddha clasped his hands together, a gesture of unity and balance, his expression both warm and knowing. Seeking clarity, King Banyan approached a wandering sage, whose wisdom flowed like the river's current, unyielding and nurturing. The Buddha's voice softened, his words carrying the sage's timeless message across centuries and landscapes. Now reaching the disciple, "Generosity without discernment invites chaos," the sage told him, his voice steady like the foundation of a mountain. The disciple's heart stirred, the sage's wisdom resonating deeply, reflecting his own experiences of pain amidst kindness. To truly serve others, the sage continued, his wisdom echoing through the Buddha's voice, "You must protect your dignity and preserve balance." The disciple whispered the words softly to himself, their meaning settling into his mind like raindrops nourishing parched earth. King Banyan understood, the Buddha said, his voice filled with both gravity and gentleness, and began to set limits, honoring himself and others. The disciple looked at the Buddha, his gaze filled with both humility and newfound strength, ready to listen further. "Master," he asked, his tone reverent yet curious, "how do I know where to draw these boundaries without losing compassion's essence?" The Buddha smiled, his expression serene yet vibrant, carrying the weight of countless lifetimes of understanding. "Compassion without wisdom," the Buddha explained, his words flowing effortlessly like a river with clear direction, "is like water without banks." The disciple nodded, the metaphor taking root in his heart, its simplicity carrying profound layers of understanding. "Kindness must flow," the Buddha continued, his voice unwavering, "but it must also be guided, to prevent harm and preserve harmony." The forest seemed to echo the Buddha's words, as if nature itself bore witness to this eternal truth. To draw boundaries, the Buddha elaborated, you must first honor your own needs. For an empty vessel cannot quench another's thirst. The disciple's eyes glistened with gratitude, his heart lighter yet fuller, carrying the Buddha's teachings like a treasured gem. Master, the disciple said, bowing deeply, I now see that balance, not boundlessness, is the true path of compassionate living. The Buddha nodded, his approval evident yet unspoken, his serene presence carrying the disciple forward on his journey. The disciple rose, his step firmer, his resolve clear, the Buddha's wisdom an eternal compass guiding his every action. As he walked away, the forest seemed to embrace him, its silence filled with the echoes of timeless lessons. The banyan tree stood witness, its shade a testament to the wisdom shared beneath its ancient boughs. Another day began. The sun rising softly, bathing the earth in golden light and waking life from its nightly slumber. The Buddha sat beneath a blooming sal tree, its fragrant blossoms casting a calming aroma over the serene gathering place. Disciples arrived, seeking wisdom, their eyes reflecting both curiosity and longing for answers to life's complexities. One disciple, a merchant named Aruna, bowed deeply, his voice trembling, Master, my kindness brings ruin instead of harmony. The Buddha motioned for Aruna to sit near him, his gesture inviting without imposing, his presence steady like the river's flow. Your troubles mirror those faced by a traveler long ago, the Buddha said, his voice a blend of calm and purpose. This traveler, weary and seeking solace, came upon a majestic tree laden with ripe, sweet fruits. The disciples leaned closer, their collective focus drawn to the unfolding tale, each sentence carrying the weight of meaning. The traveler plucked its fruits freely, grateful for the tree's generosity, and rested under its shade, nourished and comforted. The Buddha's tone shifted subtly, carrying hints of caution, guiding the narrative towards its lesson like stars guiding sailors. Others came, seeing the tree's abundance, and began taking more than they needed, its fruit disappearing faster than it could renew. The disciples exchanged glances, the tree's plight resonating with their understanding, its silent suffering mirroring a lesson of misplaced trust. The tree remained silent, its branches bending under the strain, giving without protest even as its vitality waned to near barrenness. The Buddha paused, his eyes meeting Aruna's, holding the weight of the traveler's impact and the pain of unchecked generosity. Soon, the traveler returned, seeking shelter and fruit, but found the tree unable to offer either. Reduced to a hollow trunk, the disciples' expressions reflected empathy and sorrow, the story's path illuminating the dangers of kindness untempered by self-preservation. Aruna, the Buddha said, his tone softened yet unwavering, kindness without wisdom becomes a well that serves all yet drains to emptiness. Aruna's head bowed further, the metaphor settling into his heart, intertwining with the threads of his personal suffering. Master, Aruna asked, his voice heavy with both despair and hope, how do I give without losing myself and others in return? The Buddha's lips curved slightly, his expression an unspoken assurance, his wisdom about to unfold further like a blooming lotus. To give wisely, the Buddha explained, his cadence measured, is to balance the needs of others with the need to sustain your own strength. The sal tree swayed, gently in the breeze, as if nodding in agreement with the Buddha's timeless truth, its blossoms like silent witnesses. Kindness without limits invites exploitation, the Buddha continued, his voice unwavering, and exhaustion leaves no space for true compassion to thrive. The disciples listened intently, each word carving pathways in their minds, their reflections deepening as the story's implications unraveled further. To set boundaries, the Buddha elaborated, is not selfishness but an act of wisdom. a means to nurture both giver and receiver. Aruna nodded, his posture shifting from sorrowful to resolute, his spirit braced by the Buddha's insightful guidance. Profound yet practical. Master, another disciple interjected, her voice calm yet eager. How do we know when and where these boundaries should be placed? The Buddha glanced at her, his gaze kind and patient, his wisdom weaving itself into the answer soon to follow. Boundaries, the Buddha explained, must be rooted in discernment, ensuring kindness nurtures but does not become the source of one's suffering. The disciples exchanged affirming nods, the clarity of his words bringing their thoughts into sharper focus, resolving questions previously unanswered. As the tree must retain strength, the Buddha said, to give fruit sustainably, so must you preserve your energy to continue giving. His voice carried the weight of lifetimes of understanding, each syllable resonating with the profound yet simple truth it contained. Aruna's eyes glistened, gratitude reflecting in his gaze, his heart lighter yet fuller, carrying the teachings like a treasured gem. The Buddha's presence, serene and unwavering, illuminated their paths, his teachings the eternal compass guiding each action and decision ahead. Another day ended, the sun sinking low, casting warm hues across the horizon, embracing the land in its golden farewell. Another day unfolded, the sky painted with hues of dawn as gentle breezes whispered through the quiet plains of Kapilavastu. The Buddha sat near a serene pond, its surface mirroring the vibrant colors of the sunrise and reflecting infinite tranquility. Disciples gathered around him, their expressions eager and reflective, drawn to his presence and the wisdom he would share. A young prince named Siddhartha spoke, his voice tinged with sorrow. Master, my love for all has brought suffering to many. The Buddha gestured for Siddhartha to sit closer, his movements calm and deliberate, carrying an air of infinite patience and assurance. This reminds me, the Buddha began, his voice steady and calm, of my days as a prince before my journey to enlightenment. The disciples leaned forward, the weight of the Buddha's past intriguing them, each word deepening their understanding and expanding their reflections. As a prince, the Buddha continued, my heart overflowed with compassion, driven by a desire to ease suffering wherever I found it. Siddhartha's gaze grew intent, his own actions resonating deeply with the Buddha's account, and he waited with growing anticipation for the lesson. I freed slaves and offered treasures, the Buddha explained, to anyone who asked, believing unconditional giving would bring everlasting harmony. His words carried both warmth and caution, reflecting the complex balance between noble intentions and unintended consequences. Soon, advisors came to me, the Buddha said, his tone soft yet firm, warning that unchecked generosity could imperil the kingdom's stability. Siddhartha's expression shifted, grappling with the realization that love without limits carried risks as profound as its virtues. Convinced love alone would conquer all, the Buddha continued, his voice steady. I ignored their warnings, believing kindness was a kingdom's greatest strength. Disciples exchanged glances, the growing complexity of the narrative unfolding into a lesson they hadn't fully anticipated. Enemies saw compassion as weakness, the Buddha revealed, and resources dwindled, leaving the kingdom vulnerable and its people in grave hardship. Siddhartha's brow furrowed, recognizing echoes of his own experience and the intricate interplay between intention and consequence. This suffering, the Buddha said, his tone both somber and reflective, taught me love without wisdom cannot sustain itself or protect those it seeks to serve. Siddhartha bowed his head, the weight of the truth settling in his heart, reshaping his understanding of compassion and leadership. Master, Siddhartha asked, his voice filled with both humility and urgency, how can compassion balance wisdom, protecting both the giver and those who receive? The Buddha's lips curved slightly, his expression radiant with the promise of guidance. His words carrying profound answers soon to unfold. Compassion, the Buddha explained, his tone steady like flowing water, is like a flame. It must be shielded, or it will extinguish itself. Siddhartha nodded, the metaphor weaving seamlessly into his reflections, its simplicity enhancing its profound truth. Wisdom, the Buddha continued, is the shield that ensures compassion remains alight, guiding and nurturing without losing its essence. Disciples listened intently, each word carving paths in their minds, bridging gaps between intention and sustainable action. To lead with compassion, the Buddha elaborated, one must draw boundaries, for an open hand without balance invites misuse and harm. Siddhartha's expression softened, clarity and resolve replacing the sorrow that had previously weighed him down. His spirit shifting toward harmony. Master, another disciple interjected, her tone both curious and respectful. How do we ensure boundaries do not make us seem cold or unfeeling? The Buddha glanced at her, his gaze kind and affirming, his next words poised to bridge compassion and discernment seamlessly. Boundaries, the Buddha explained, must emerge from love and understanding, guided by wisdom that preserves the giver's ability to serve others. The pond's surface rippled gently in the wind, as if resonating with the Buddha's truth, its serenity a reflection of infinite harmony. True leadership, the Buddha said, his voice unwavering yet compassionate, requires discernment, knowing when to act and when to preserve one's resources. Siddhartha and the disciples exchanged understanding glances. The connection between the Buddha's past actions and their future choices clear. Master, Siddhartha said, bowing deeply, I now understand compassion must flow like a river, guided, sustainable, nurturing all without becoming a flood. The Buddha nodded, his approval evident though unspoken, his serene presence carrying Siddhartha forward on his journey to enlightenment. Another day ended. The sun sinking low, painting the horizon in amber and crimson hues. A farewell to the lessons shared. The disciples bowed, their commitment to the teaching solidified in their hearts. The man who had insulted Buddha earlier now joined the gathering, his posture indicating humility. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.